The first time I saw my sister in her wedding dress, it wasn't at her venue. It was on TikTok. My fiancé and I were lying under a striped umbrella in Barbados, our feet still dusted with white sand, the ocean stretching endlessly in front of us. My phone started vibrating non-stop against the lounge chair. At first, I ignored it. Vacations are sacred. Peace is expensive. But the buzzing didn't stop. When I finally opened the app, I saw it, a live stream. Over 1 million people watching. The caption read, "Bride calls out jealous sister for trying to ruin her wedding." My name was pinned at the top of the comments. Thousands of strangers typing it like they knew me personally. On the screen, my sister stood in her gown, mascara smudged just enough to look tragic, microphone in hand. "I should have known she'd try something," she said, voice trembling dramatically. "She's always hated when I'm happy." Gasps filled the background. The camera zoomed in on her shaking shoulders. I hadn't even been invited to the wedding. 3 months ago, she told me, it's just going to be close family and positive energy. Apparently, I wasn't either. Now she was telling the internet I sabotaged her big day. The groom was arguing with someone off camera. Guests were whispering. A bridesmaid walked out crying. Something had clearly gone wrong, and she needed someone to blame. So she chose the safest target, me. Growing up, she was always the loud one. Quick tears, quick accusations, quick sympathy. I was the quiet one, and people mistake quiet for guilt. My fiancé lowered his sunglasses slowly and looked at me. "Are you going to respond?" The comments were vicious. "Cut her off. Jealous energy. Some sisters are snakes." I read them without expression. Here's the thing about public humiliation. It only works if the other person reacts. If I posted, she'd win. If I defended myself, I'd look defensive. If I explained, I'd feed the drama. She wanted a villain. I wasn't going to audition. I locked my phone and placed it face down on the table. The ocean kept moving like nothing had happened. The sky stayed blue. The world did not collapse just because my name was trending. Inside, something became very clear. People who create chaos need witnesses. People who build peace need distance. "Extend the trip," I said calmly, standing up and brushing sand off my legs. My fiancé studied me for a second, then smiled. Back home, her wedding was falling apart live in front of millions. Out here, the only sound was the tide. She thought she had exposed me. They thought I would panic. They had no idea what I was about to do next. By the time we flew back from Barbados, the video from TikTok had already crossed 3 million views. It was everywhere. Reaction channels, commentary pages, toxic sister compilations. People I hadn't spoken to in years suddenly cared deeply about my character. I didn't post a single thing. No explanation. No denial. No vague quote about truth always coming out. Silence makes people uncomfortable, but silence also forces time to work for you. Back home, life resumed. I went to work Monday morning like nothing had happened. Head high, calm voice, normal routine. If my coworkers were curious, they hid it well. Or maybe they were waiting for me to break down. I didn't. Instead, I focused. Longer hours, sharper decisions, fewer distractions. The promotion I'd been quietly preparing for, I secured it within 2 months. Not because of the drama, because while the internet debated my personality, I was building my future. Meanwhile, my sister's world wasn't as stable. The wedding hadn't just fallen apart. The groom's texts to his ex weren't rumors. They were screenshots. Someone had leaked them during the reception. Guests had left early. Vendors were demanding payment. Deposits were non-refundable. The marriage license was never filed. And once the live stream ended, the sympathy slowly shifted. People started asking questions. Wait, how could her sister ruin it if she wasn't even there? That groom drama seems unrelated. The comments that once attacked me began turning neutral, then skeptical, but I still didn't respond because this was no longer about defending myself. It was about letting reality breathe. One evening, my cousin called. You know, people are starting to realize she exaggerated, right? I stirred my tea calmly. I'm not surprised. I said, she's been posting less. My cousin added, comments aren't going her way anymore. Of course they weren't. Drama is exciting at first, but facts are persistent, and facts don't need volume. A week later, I received an unexpected email. A brand had initially reached out to my sister for a collaboration tied to her wedding journey. After the controversy, they were reconsidering. They had seen my professional profile. They wanted to discuss a partnership instead, not because I attacked her, not because I exposed her, because I never reacted. Calm looks credible. Chaos looks risky. I accepted the meeting, quietly. Meanwhile, she began messaging family members. Tell her to clarify things. Why is she letting people think I lied? Interesting. Now, my silence was uncomfortable. Now, my lack of defense felt threatening. But I wasn't punishing her. I was simply refusing to participate. There's a difference. Months passed, my fiancé and I finalized plans for our own wedding. Small, private, intentional, no live streams, no spectacle, just peace. Ironically, vendors who had worked her event reached out to us. Apparently, professionalism travels faster than drama. One afternoon, as I reviewed a contract in my new office, corner window, city view, my phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't gossip. It was an invitation, a family gathering, first one since the wedding disaster. And according to the message, she wants to clear the air. I looked at the skyline, then at my reflection in the glass. I didn't feel angry. I felt distant, not above her, just beyond the need to compete. They were still discussing what happened that night. I was already planning something much bigger, and for the first time, I realized I wasn't trying to prove her wrong. I had simply outgrown the stage she was performing on. They were still talking about me. I was already far ahead of them. The family dinner was quiet when I arrived. No cameras, no whispers loud enough to matter. My sister stood when everyone finally looked at her. I shouldn't have blamed you, she said carefully. I was hurt. I reacted. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't perfect, but it was public. I didn't rush to comfort her. I never responded. I said calmly, because truth doesn't need defense. The room stayed still. I wasn't there. I continued. And anyone who knows me already, they thought I was weak because I didn't react. They didn't know I was simply choosing